Hi, kiddo. How was your day? Oh, correct me if I'm wrong here, but this sounds like a lot of small, annoying things kind of a situation. Hmm. Well, I hear you. That can be scattering. Yeah, and there is only one thing, even if it's big, at least we know what to focus on. Well, as long as you pick one of them, I guess the bright side here is that as long as you are only scattered in a metaphorical sense, you can be collected again. Yes, this did have me think of Humpty Dumpty for some reason. If you were ever scattered in a not so metaphorical sense, I guess you couldn't be put back together. Those sort of abilities is not anything for us mere humans. Well, there is something in Egypt myth about the king of the gods. He he had a brother, and for anyone who's a member of a royal family, you probably shouldn't have one of those. Well, I'd recommend maybe an heir would be a nice member of the family, and well, if you could have a wife, and I guess maybe the heir couldn't be done yet, just sort of, in the mail or something, that's probably even safer. Well, Osiris' brother was named Seth, isn't it? I feel like even if you don't know anything about Egypt myth, to this day, the name Seth slightly rings of some sort of generic evil. Okay, well, he is funny, but I mean, in older stories, Seth's great plan involved a party, which was quite a nice part of the plan so far. Everyone was there, everyone was enjoying themselves, but of course, there was a rather peculiar party game. Let's call it Fit the Coffin. I mean, feels a little bit on the nose, but the coffin in question was more of a sarcophagus, and it was very expensive, golden and lavish, and lots of gems. So everyone at the party really, really wanted that thing, and Seth said, "Well, if you want it, just try it, and whoever it fits, it's theirs." Yeah, it was obviously incredibly rigged and part of a evil scheme to trap his brother in the sarcophagus that fit him perfectly, and then also use it to slice and dice him, and scatter him across Egypt in 9 pieces. Osiris was obviously king of the gods, and his brother was extremely aware of this. So, just putting him in a coffin and leaving him there, assuming everything was great and that he was definitely not going to be any more trouble, that was not the evil plan. But on the other hand, while Osiris was powerful, he was married to Queen of the Gods, obviously. She was the goddess of magic, which, you know, is it's not bad as power goes. Well, she searched high and low, mostly high, I guess, because there was a whole lot of bird stuff going on. But she eventually did find everything and put her husband back together and reanimated him. Yeah, I did say reanimated. It was a special kind of reunion. I don't know if we want to get into that, but there's a point to it that I do like. Even while both of them were incredibly powerful and important and all that, you don't just die and shake it off. There is still a price to pay, which feels some sort of apt, I think. Well, I guess if we're stepping back a little, this means that you can't just rely on me to scour Egypt and put you back together again. There will still be consequences if things go too far or too bad. From that day, Osiris was no longer king of the gods, but king of the kingdom of the dead, because that's where he resided. Yeah, she did bring him back, but that was very temporary and didn't really last. So, well, I mean, also, death didn't exactly last because he was still divine, and the solution then is he lives among the dead. I suppose that's a good point. Lives should be put in air quotes. It was arguably a new form of existence for him. But there is something beautiful about the whole thing, I still think. Well, no matter how scattered you get and how much hatred and greed you encounter, even if you literally lie down in the coffin to test it out, because we all make decisions sometimes that are not the best. Exactly. Even then, the power of love, and, I guess, the power of family, can bring you back in some capacity. Yeah, I guess Humpty Dumpty should have married Isis. Or possibly Dominic Toretto, always a man of incredible familial power, supposedly. I don't actually know much about those stories. I've just heard a thing or two. Well, I'm not the queen of magic or anything like that, but if you ever get lost, I will do my best to try and find you again. I guess that's part of what family is. Ones who keep looking for you, no matter how fruitless it might seem. Yes, also sometimes the ones who kill you. I feel like that might be somewhat accurate as well, and I do hope to avoid that as much as possible. Well, for what it's worth, I love you, and if I ever can help holding you together, you know where to find me. Oh, you have. You have a lot of times. More than you know, I reckon. Well, that's the thing. You do so much for me all the time. I can only hope to give some of it back. I've been very lucky, not only to have you in my life, but that this right here, this is you and me. That certainly isn't how it works for everyone. Apparently, some family members throw lavish parties to kill each other, which to this day our family has never done, and well, I hope we can continue down that path of relative peace and non murder and all that. Yeah, I know, I know. Come here, you. I love you, kiddo. And I'm glad you are still here.